Hello my friends, I'm using my new GoPro 10. Now I had watched a lot of unboxings, setups, and different options in different YouTube videos, but it's nothing like experience. Mike's recording me over there with his phone, but I'm not doing a review. I mean, I figure if you're going to buy a GoPro 10, you have done your research and due diligence, but after watching all those videos, there were two things that nobody covered, and that's what I want to cover for you now. Now, the pitiful thing is, after you hear these tips, you'll completely forget about them unless you end up buying a GoPro 10, and then this video may come to mind. The first tip is that battery door. That was the hardest thing. I mean, that experience was really, really bad. I could not get the battery door open. I had broken my fingernails to where I had to go get the fingernail clippers 2 times and clean them up. They just ripped them apart. So I called my friend Andy from Metro on the Move, because I know he had a GoPro 10. And he couldn't understand. He said, yeah, it was a little difficult, but it gets easier. But he did say, well, this GoPro 10 is waterproof. So around the door, there's some sort of gasket, I think, and that's what kind of makes it hard. But in any case, I finally, after fooling with it, I almost was waiting until I seen him the next backpacking trip. It was that bad, I couldn't get it open, tearing up my fingers. But anyway, as I was dealing with it, I caught a little red streak across it, and oh, wait a minute. So I kept fooling with it, and I realized what you have to do, and I'm gonna put a little clip in. You have to pull it down and then out, and it was such an ordeal though. When I finally got it open, I didn't want to close it. It's one of them things. Good God, I didn't want to close it and go through this again. But actually, once I realized the process, it did get easier. Not that it was not easy from the beginning. It did seem to, after I learned how to actually pull down, pull out, it seemed to have gotten easier. Now, if you do this, I think you need, make sure you do it without a battery in it. Because putting a battery in it, I think what happens is that door pushes against the battery to hold the contacts. So I think that plays a part, and it does take a little strength to mash it in and then click it up and close it. All right, that was tip number 1. And like I say, you'll forget about this until you buy your GoPro, and you may get a smile when you try to open that door and say, that's right, Senior Hiker did mention this, how hard it was. Tip number 2, I use my tracking pole so my hands are not free while I'm hiking. I'm using them or either carrying them. But just looking for a setup where I could hook the camera and tripod right to my backpack strap, and I found this Tellison. It was only $10, and it slips right over. Let's see, it slips right over your shoulder strap like this. Now I'm using my GoPro, so I can't show it to you, but it has a J-clip there to go up in there like that, and it clicks. And the problem, like I say, I thought this was going to be my answer, but it ended up, to start with, it was so hard, I couldn't see it, because you have got to get the J-hook right in the right slots there and push it up in there. It snaps in, and of course it's fairly secure. And then the GoPro is there, and it dangles down with the tripod, which is what I wanted. And it seemed to be all right, except when I wanted to use it, it didn't seem practical at all. I'd have to reach up and mash the clips together and take it out. And I wanted a GoPro because I saw my friends, if I use my phone, I have to get it out my pocket. I have to turn it on, power it on, put my figure in it, and my design, I guess you could say. And then I'd have to select the camera, go over it, it comes up on photo, I have to select it on video, put it on the little tripod, and it was a lot of work. Where these guys with GoPros, they just ripped it off, hit one button, and they're recording. So that appealed to me. So I ended up, after all these years, getting one. I'm glad I did, but I have not figured out exactly what combination I need to fix this on. Now this is great, like say if you don't want a tripod hanging off of it, but I wanted my tripod. So but anyway, this was so high I couldn't get it back up in there, so I moved it down to this part of the I moved it down to this bottom part down here. It was a little better, but it hung so low it was bumping into my hip belt pockets. And not only that, I still couldn't get it in there correct. I got it in sideways one time, didn't realize it, and after about 5 steps the whole thing fell on the ground. Thankfully this tripod is so heavy it hit on the tripod and just fell over, didn't hurt anything. But I did have that in $59 insurance policy they make you buy if you want the discount. That I could have sent it back, no questions asked, and get a new one. So I wasn't really worried about that. But anyway, so this is not going to work out for me. This is what I got for now. So I went back and I ordered the Shorty Tripod. That's what it's called, a Shorty. And it only opens up about 19 inches. It's good for selfies and things like that. But what I'm doing here in this chair, this tripod works great, but a Shorty, I'm gonna be looking down at the phone. So it's got its pros and cons too, but it's a lot lighter. And not only that, I won't need that J hook. I'll just be able to hook it directly to the Shorty, and I'll be able to turn the camera so the thumb screw won't be on the side where the battery door is. I'll reverse it so the thumb screw is on the other side. Because right now the setup I've got, this thumb screw is right in the way of the battery door, which makes it a little difficult to open and close. But anyway, so I'm not there. Then my friend Andy, he's got the jaws and a gooseneck, and it just clips right here. He hooks it on trees, branches, and it seems to work for him. And I don't know, that might be what I'll have to do eventually, but I'm gonna go ahead and try the Shorty. And but I wish somebody had clicked me off about those 2 items, the door and how to connect it successfully to your backpack and make it useful. So that's the 2 tips, and so I'll close it out for now and see you next week.